This might sound intense, but write down the list of habits you have on a daily basis and what you do every single day. Basically, just follow your day and write down everything you do. And then at the end of the day, separate what you want to keep in your habits and what you don't want to keep, and then make a new column of what you want to improve on. So we constantly have habits as humans. It could be negative habits, it could be positive habits, habits that we want to break, habits that we want to develop, new habits we want to form, like exercise habits, nutritional habits. And the idea is, how do you break a habit? You can't tell someone to just stop doing it. It's not as easy as it sounds. You can't tell someone who with a eating disorder to just stop eating or to eat more. Our minds are really complex. First of all, I'd recommend you to read Atomic Habits because it dives into how to break habits. But I'm gonna give you a personal story and I'm gonna link it to how I'm breaking these habits. So I have a severe, I'd say from childhood, where I picked my skin, and I still do sometimes. But I would, every single day, I'll just pick my skin, my arms, my face. Like my whole life, I've been trying to battle it, and I'm telling myself I need to stop doing this. This is not healthy. Like I'm gonna get scars. And then I asked myself, because I've never asked myself the question of why I was doing it, and acknowledging the fact of, was this making me feel relieved? Because it certainly was, and a lot of the behaviors that you indulge in certainly make you feel relieved. So then it was the question of, what was I trying to feel relieved from? And the question of, was I doing it because I was bored? Was I doing it because I was stressed? And it was all of them. Basically, for me, picking my skin was like a relieving point of view. For someone, it could be eating. They could feel relieved when they eat. For someone, it could be smoking. They feel relieved. But basically diving into the deeper reasons and not just looking at it from a surface level of why do you feel the need to do this. For me, it was stress and boredom. So how I would battle that was, okay, now we've acknowledged what I was battling, and now you can acknowledge what your habits are that you don't want to be doing. And then ask yourself why you're doing it. And a lot of people like to lie to themselves, but just be completely honest with yourself. I've said this so many times, but just lay it on the table. Pick up a camera. Like I used to pick up the camera and just talk to myself. So I know this probably sounds weird, but just pick up the camera and just lay everything out on the table. Psychoanalyze yourself. You can analyze people, judge people, or whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's on you, and it matters what you're doing. No one cares about what your life consists of, only you do. So analyze yourself and realize, what is it? Why am I doing this behavior? So because I was picking my skin because I was bored, first of all, when I was indulging in that behavior, my thoughts, I feel like they just turned off and I wasn't thinking. So making it harder for myself, so like making a physical barrier, so I would wear long sleeves instead of short sleeves, and that already made it harder for me because it took more time for me to take my sleeve off and then pick my skin. And by that time, my mind was already like, what am I doing? Like, I'm definitely bored right now. And then I would force myself to do something else. So I'd force myself, whatever it was, just getting on my phone, looking at my emails, whatever, just forcing myself to do something else. And then the more you do it, the more you practice this, the less you start picking your habits. Now with stress, when I found myself in stressful situations, I would just turn off and I would start picking my skin. So what I would do is, obviously, the long sleeves helped already because it's like a physical barrier. And in Atomic Habits, the book, it states that making negative habits seem as undesirable as possible is already a factor which determines that you're probably not going to go likely, it's going to be harder for you to do. And making habits that you want to do more desirable. So for example, if you want to start going to the gym, make it as easy as possible it is for you. So lay out your gym clothes the day before, the night before you go to, so when you go to bed. So when you wake up, they're right in front of you and you're more likely to do the habits. And even if you don't have to 100% fully do it straight away. You don't have to go into the gym straight away and do a whole intense workout. Just getting yourself into the gym, and already in your mind, you told yourself, I went up, I showed up. So next time you're more likely to do that. Obviously my personal recommendation, but this is just for people who want to go a little easier themselves, but ideally you should just be forcing yourself. And this might sound harsh, but I do think that discipline is one of the greatest forms of self-care and self-love. It sounds cheesy, I know, but when you do something and when you are productive, as you would say, and then it's the whole idea of what is productivity, but I'm gonna make a different little video about that. But when you feel like you're putting yourself forward, and I know I'm going off topic right now, but I think this is an important message, where you feel like you're moving a step forward in some part of your life, then that makes you feel better about yourself, and that increases your confidence into not only yourself, but into your words and what you say. Getting back to habits, me picking my skin harder, not only in a physical way, but also thinking more unconsciously, asking myself, why am I doing this? And because a lot of the times when I do indulge in these behaviors, I end up regretting it. And when I regret it, I feel worse about myself. So really asking myself, am I gonna regret this? What is this what is this gonna solve? Is this gonna make me feel at ease, better? Are there other ways I can be doing this? And just asking yourself these hard questions really goes a long way. So be honest with yourself, realize what you're doing and what you want to stop doing, and just make it as hard for yourself to commit these actions. Like, for example, smoking. Force yourself to go to the furthest shop in order to get your pack of cigarettes. Force yourself to throw away your lighter every single time you smoke a few cigarettes. So just making it harder for yourself. Also, nutrition, if you feel like you eat a lot of processed foods, make it harder for yourself. Go to the furthest McDonald's. You go grocery shopping, so don't go on an empty stomach. Don't buy ultra processed foods, because when you get home in the environment, it's way easier for yourself to succeed in when there's no bad food in your house. And for the easier habits, do the opposite, converse it. Stock up on better foods. So it's easier so when you look in the fridge, when you're hungry, you're more likely to pick a better option. So realize that these are things that are in your control. You control what you do every single day. So be honest with yourself about the habits and the things that you want to be doing and the things you don't want to be doing. So hopefully you guys learned something today.